Welcome to the Thrive Time Show on Talk Radio 1170.
It's a Thrive Time Show on the radio. Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. It's all about you. 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 Yeah. So we bring the boom.
Yes, sir. It's Ian Clay, broadcaster from the box in the 918. Business school in the topic today. Check the syllabus, it's getting you paid. Making the business boom is what we do. You can do it, let us show you. I'm a father of five with maniacal focus to teach. All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show on your radio or podcast download. I realize that the podcast downloads are far outpacing the radio show listeners. We have about 30,000 people in Tulsa that listen to the show faithfully, and we appreciate you for the ratings. Actually, this time last year, we're 47% up from last year. So we're really doing well on the ratings. I appreciate you sharing this with the people that you care about. But more importantly than ratings, I care about you guys applying what you're learning. And so I have three specific examples that I want to share with you about Thrivers just getting it done, kicking some butt, making some wins, having success, having time freedom. I want to share those before I answer our question that was emailed to us from a listener. The question that was emailed to us was how to overcome anxiety and stress. But here's my brag buffet. The Tip Top Canine folks, Ryan and Rachel, what they've done this year is nothing short of remarkable. So many people over the years have asked me for advice to grow their business, and it's usually big companies. Hewlett-Packard and Maytag University, and my wife and I would hop in a car or an airplane. We'd travel there. We'd teach them. And they have a big organization with accountability baked into it. And so they would implement what we taught them. They'd have huge wins. Small business owners, though, often struggle with accountability, and they struggle implementing what they're learning because they have that internal thing that I literally refer to, and I mean it to be so. I believe it is demons. I believe that God represents all things that are good, literally. And I believe that Satan represents all things that are negative, literally. So I believe that if you are battling procrastination and depression, I literally believe that is to be depression caused by Satan himself. I do believe that. I believe they are demons in your head. So I believe that you need to rebuke those things and say no to them. You don't have to, be a Christian necessarily. I encourage you to do so because the end of the game, you can't take it with you. But these guys, Rachel and Ryan, they're implementing what we're teaching. And so Tip Top Canine is now topping Google. They're now doing great with their business. Their no-brainer advertisement has worked. Their video at tiptopcanine.com is sensational. And they're now opening up multiple locations. Owasso, Oklahoma is a first location in action. Boise, Idaho is now open. Twin Falls, Idaho is now open. Looks like Dallas, Texas is coming around. I mean, just neat, exciting things. If you want to learn more about how you can own a tip-top business, just tell you this. For less than $20,000 of startup costs, you can make $100,000 a year with that business opportunity. Full Package Media. It's so exciting to see what they're doing. FullPackageMedia.com. The third, kind of an exciting one. I love to see what's going on with LaMode Cleaners. LaMode Cleaners.
Shout out to the Danimal.
The Danimal. He's topping Google for every possible term. He's letting us execute the search engine systems. He's not fighting us about why Google works or how Google works. He's just empowering us to do it.
Do you know what's awesome about Dan in particular with LaMode Cleaners? It's just the coachability. He's
coachability.
Just a good guy. He knows he understands that there's things that he doesn't know that he doesn't know.
Yes.
And he's open to making these changes in his business and his life because he knows that you've already been there and you're a source of wisdom for him. So shout out Danimal.
Danimal, unbelievable. Dan with LaMode Cleaners. Their service is phenomenal. They've been serving Tulsa for decades. Great service. Now, do you feel overwhelmed with stress and anxiety in your life? Are you struggling to find how to overcome these feelings? Okay. Well, here is the proven path, the proven system to beat out anxiety. One, I want you to write out the worst case scenario of what you fear. Write down what you fear so much on a piece of paper. Write it down. Here we go. Everybody get out a sheet of paper. Write it down.
That's writing noise.
Write it down. Most people, it's going to be poverty, public speaking, or death. That's the three. But there's probably something else for you. But poverty, public speaking, or death. Why do you know those things? Because I study this stuff all the time. The next is fear. Understand that fear is just fear is not what you think it is. Fear is false evidence appearing real. It's not real. Fear is just you thinking about the worst case scenario all the time until your brain explodes. So you need to go ahead and write down the worst case scenario. Write it down. And then say, I'm going to do my best and I'm going to forget the rest. Say it with me now. Do your best and forget the rest. Do your best and forget the rest. It's so important that you do this because if you do your best, If you did your best, if you sincerely did your best, God was watching. So, you get up to heaven, you say, hey, I'm sorry, the God-given talent you gave me, I did my best and it wasn't good enough. So, God, could you have given me an upgrade? I mean, if you did your best, don't worry about it. But here's a notable quotable from the Bible, and I want Eric Chupp to break this down. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. John 14:27. What does that mean?
So it means that you're in control of yourself, right? It means at the end of the day, you can block out these emotions. You cannot have to have this fear if you follow these action steps. So write out that worst case scenario, right? Put that onto paper so that this is absolute worst case scenario, and then understand what Clay was just talking about. It's false evidence appearing real.
I don't fear anything because I know that God has a plan for my life. So I really don't know how to help you on a secular level fight fear other than telling you that you just have to do your best and forget the rest. But I believe that God is always watching, and that there's many verses in the Bible that speak about working as unto the Lord. Don't work as you're working unto men. Like, I don't work. When I get hired by a client to do a speaking event, I'm not doing it for them. I'm not doing it for the person who paid me. I'm doing it for God, and I want to put on the best performance I possibly can to glorify God. That's my whole thing. That's my whole mantra. That's my whole aura. And once you get that, that's why I have an insane work ethic. I honestly am self-conscious that I'm going to let God down. I hate to get up there and he's like, here's the deal, buddy. I used to stutter as a kid, right? So I just grinded through that to learn how to stop stuttering. I used to be so afraid of public speaking because I got mocked as a kid, but I grinded through that.
Now he has a radio show.
Yeah, and I used to be so afraid of poverty, and now I don't have to think about it. And so I just know that any adversity that God's allowed to be in front of you, He's using that to struggle you. You gain strength through struggle. But Devin, how do you battle anxiety or fear on a daily basis? What do you do? Do you take a lot of antidepressants? Do you drink a lot during the day? What's your
highly
move?
medicated.
Both at the same time.
What do you do? What do you do?
I think the big thing for me is to just get working. Once I start working on something, even if it's a big project and it's pretty intimidating, just either from sheer size or from the complexity of that project.
Devin wants to work.
That's
All
right.
he does is work. And he chases his home around after work. And he hangs out with his kids after work. Then he goes to... Sorry. I got it.
Work.
Okay, so Chupp, how do you deal with anxiety? What do you do?
So I deal with anxiety through preparation. If I'm feeling anxious about something, then I know that I can prepare myself out of that emotion, right?
Oh.
If you are prepared and you're feeling fearful or anxious, then you just have to realize that you've done what you can do. So like you just said, do your best and forget the rest. So prepare and then just push those feelings of anxiety away. Just get them off of you.
Up next, we have a Thriver who emailed us, what are your rules for raising and lowering prices? What are your rules for this? So when we come back, we're going to talk about the next segment. What are the rules for raising and lowering prices?
Yeah, don't be scared to raise your prices. How about that? Just do it sometimes.
Now, here's the deal. We had a generous sponsor from Paul Hood. So for the last few months, we've been able to lower the prices for the Thrive Time Show workshop because he's paying the difference. But if someone wants to get a free ticket, they don't have to pay $99 to attend our February 16th and 17th workshop. How do they get those free tickets, my man?
Search for Thrive Time Show on the Google machine, okay? Open it on iTunes or Stitcher. Leave us a rating and a review. Subscribe. Screenshot that thing and email the proof with your phone number to info@thrivetimeshow.com for 2 free tickets.
Subscribe on iTunes.
Subscribe.
Leave us an objective review and send us
Objective
proof
review?
you did it
That's it.
at info@thrivetimeshow.com. Stay tuned.